So, welcome aboard the Tech Genius XY Express. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell for your passport to programming in English and Hausa. Thank you for joining us in this presentation. So, without much to say, in this presentation, we are going to continue solving the problem of Python control statements. So, we have developed some simple tasks and we are going to provide a solution and see the algorithm as well, how we are going to solve this project. So we'll delve into Python control statement. We are going to explore their versatility and efficiency through a set of practical application. From calculating factorial to building a number guessing game, you will also get hands-on experience with control structure. So without further ado, let's start with our first question. So in this question, write a Python program to calculate the factorial of a given number using a while loop. So the good question you have to ask yourself, what is factorial? That is the first thing you need to understand. And what will be the algorithm that you are going to develop to solve this problem? So, in mathematics, factorial simply is the result of multiplying a given number of consecutive integers from 1 to the given number. So, in simple English, it means, for example, you have 3, so you have to multiply the 3 starting from 1. You can start backward or forward. You can start with 1 times 2 times 3, or you can start with 3 times 2 times 1. That is all the definition is saying. So, any number you choose, you have to multiply that number consecutive up to 1. So that is all. So now our program is to accept a number from user. That is our algorithm 1. Then we should print out the factorial of that number using either for loop or while loop. So it's easy to do. We solved in our previous session. We solved the one for sum, how we sum. We find the sum of a number in a list, or the sum of a number from what the user entered. We loop it up to a range where the number is stopping. So the same thing is applicable here. So we are to accept our number from the user. We store it in this variable. We set factorial to 1 because factorial does not contain 0. 0 factorial is 1. So that is why we are setting our factorial to 1 here. And our iteration must start from 1, not from 0. Then we are passing the condition while this condition is true. So while this condition is satisfied, that is iteration is less than or equals to what the user passed. So if the user pass 1, 1, what do you guess will happen? We are just going to factor 1. That is all. So if the user pass 2 here, so 2 is 1 is less than or equals to 2, which is true. We are going to enter this block of code and we are going to call our factorial. We multiply it by the iteration. We are at iteration 1. If this is 2, we are at iteration 1 because I will start from 1. So iteration 1, we are going to multiply the factorial with the iteration, that is 1 times 1 is 1. We are going to increment our iteration 1 plus 1 again. So I, since I is 1, I plus 1 plus 1, that is I plus 1. So it's going to be 2. So our second iteration here will be 2. Then 2 is less than or equals to 2, which is true. Then we are going to enter the loop and we are going to, we know our factorial before is 1. Then we are going to say 1 times 2 this time around, so which is 2. So we are going to increment the counter, which is I. That is I is 2. We have to add 1 to it. 2 plus 1, which is 3. Is 3 less than or equals to 2, which is wrong. So 3 is not less than or equals to 2. We are coming out of this loop and we are going to print out the number that the user passed and the factorial of that number. I believe this is self-explanatory. So we are going to test run this program and I'm going to pass 2 because the factorial of 2 is 2. That is 2 times 1. Like we said, the number must start from what the number starts. We keep multiplying consecutive up to where the, so Now I'm going to pass 5. So that will be 1 times 2 times 3 times 4 times 5, 120. So that is basically how you develop your factorial problem. So we are done with that. We are going to go to the second task, which is create a Python program that checks if a user entered integer is a prime number. Use a for loop to find the factor of the number. So what is a prime number? A prime number is the number that is divisible by itself and 1. So is 1 a prime number? No, because 1 is only divisible by itself. It's not divisible by 1. So 1 is only divisible by 1. So 1 is not a prime factor. So what a prime factor starts from 2. 2 is divisible by itself, which is 2, and it's also divisible by 1. So that is we have to understand that. So we have two ways to solve this problem. The easiest one is the one that we are going to do here, which is very, very straightforward. So since we understand how we are going to implement, we are accepting our user, whatever the user passed, the number, we store it in num. Then we declare a variable is prime, we set it to true. So we are setting this our variable to true. We check if the number is less than or equals to 1, then we already know the prime is false. Else, we are going to find the factor of that number by taking the square root of the number, we add it plus 1, then we iterate and divide to find the remainder of that number through the iteration. So this is a basic manipulation in mathematics. There are so many ways to implement this, but this is very easy to do. So uh, without much to say, in this program, you will first define the list of number. Then from that, we are going to iterate through that number and find exactly what we are looking for. So that is very easy to do, and is not difficult to explain. Like I said, I'm trying to okay. So if we check the 2, for example, let's say 4. So the square root of 4 here, this is 4, then this is 0.5. This 3 2 star, this 2 multiplication here stands for exponential. So that means this is 0.5. 0.5 is also the square. So the square of the number, we are taking the square of the number. Whatever the user entered, we take the square of that number. So for example, the user passed 4. So the square root of 4 is going to be what? 2. So and 2 plus 1 is 3. So we are passing the range from 2 to 3. We are going to iterate and divide the number what the user passed. So the user entered 4. So we are going to pass the in between that we divide the 4. 4 will be divisible by 2 in this case. So since 4 is divisible by 2 in this case, that means it's not a prime number because the remainder is 0. And prime number, as we know from definition, is a number that is divisible by itself and 1 only. So any other thing is going to be false. So after that, then we are checking. After this loop, we break out of the loop once it's false. Then we print out whatever prime that we are storing. So let's just run this so that we will see this practically. I have commented the previous one. Okay, so let me run this program so that we're going to pass 5. We know 5 is a prime number because it's divisible by itself and 1. And I'm going to pass 9. We know 9 is not a prime number because 9 is divisible by 3. So it's not a prime number. So I hope you get the whole picture. So we are going to see the second algorithm of this problem, the in the other at the end of this slide. So the fourth one, create a Python program that generates a random password for the user. The password should be a combination of uppercase, lowercase, digits, and special character. You can use random module for this. So, okay, in this case, the question is straightforward and is self-explanatory. So, like we said, we have to develop our algorithm and data structure of if is important to the question. But at this moment, we are not implementing any data structure, so we are just using these two modules. The random help us to generate numbers randomly, and string give us the ability to use the character, whatever combination of letter, digits, symbols, all are in that library. So now we have to call the length. We are saving our variable length. We are accepting from the user. We tell the user enter the password length. So whatever the length the user passed here is going to get stored in this. Then we are creating a character, the combination of the character that we want to combine. We say call the library, which is the module string.ascii letter. This one give us all the uppercase and lowercase. This one from the library, this one give us all the numbers. This one give us all the symbols, punctuation. So if you print this character, you are going to see the bunch of uh, numbers and combination of letters and whatever will be stored here. Then we call password. Here we want to do our join. We want to join and random and pass the choice and the random all together. So we are joining. This is string. We are passing everything as string. Then dot join. We call this join method. We pass the random. That means it's going to disarrange the number. It's going to pick them randomly. Then this choice is going to select. We call this random dot period. We are perioding it with choice. Then this choice will pass the character which we store here. So it's going to select from the character and choose randomly from that. So it's going to select the number, the letter, the alphabet. Everything will be done in a very systematic way. So that is one of the advantage of using libraries and module. Okay, and for the for loop here, we use some kind of special for loop, which is for underscore. This underscore creates a loop that repeats the length. So that is we are passing in the range of length. So that means our range should not be what more than what the user enters. So that will be our range. So that is we are basically what we are doing in that case. So we join everything in string at the end of the day. So let us test run this program and see it by ourselves. Okay. So in this program, we are going to enter the password length. Let's say we are passing 10 and we are going to see the output. Okay, so the first print function here is printing the character, which is all these symbols, so that we store in character. And this is the password generated is length 10. We have this uppercase, we have these symbols, we have these digits. You get the whole picture, so you can play around with this. It's very funny to test run this program. So we are going to comment this out without much to say. I guess we are at the last one here. Okay, so this creates a simple number guessing game, generates a random number between 1 and 100. Okay, create a simple number guessing game. That's our task. Between 1 and 100, that is random numbers, and allow the user to enter the guess number. Provide hints if the guess is too high or too low. Use a while loop to keep the game running until the user guess correctly. Okay, this is a guessing game. Is we are going to comment this out so that we can test run this and see what is happening. Okay, I think we are stopping here, yes, because the algorithm is too. Okay, so at this moment, we are calling our random one. We are accepting user from we are accepting variable from the user here. But mind you, since we want to select randomly, so we are going to, okay, so let's test run this program and see what will happen. We will continue in our next presentation. This slide is taking much longer, so I think we have to hold here until the next class. Thank you for joining us in this presentation.